Hello, my name is Gijs. I'm an angling journalist from the Netherlands. And of course, we are in the Netherlands right now. And I'm with Antony Johnson from the UK. And I'm very lucky because he's catching a big carp, I think. Today we're going to talk about the differences between fishing with the method in summer and in the winter. We are just arrived 5 minutes ago and you already caught the first F1. Can you tell us what is the main difference between using the feeder in the summer and in the winter?
The difference I find between summer and winter is you can be slightly more aggressive with your feeding on the feeder, increasing the feed going onto it. You can also speed up your casts and the times on your casts, so you can go from sort of like casting every 3 or 4 minutes depending on how quick you're getting bites. In winter you sort of like you have to regulate your feed a little more, and also be more patient, because obviously the colder months, smaller baits, just really have to slow everything down, because the fish are less active in the winter than what they are in the summer. So the key thing in summer, yes, you can be a bit more aggressive in how you approach the feeder fishing with the volume of feed, and in winter, because the fish are slowing down, is literally be more patient, smaller baits, smaller feeders.
Well, Antony, and if you talk about rod, reels and lines, what kind of material are you using at the moment?
I'm using an 11-foot feeder rod. It's got a 2-ounce tip in at the moment, but I would go down to so like a 1.5 ounce and maybe an ounce tip during the winter months, because you could be picking up skimmers as well, so you need that more positive bite indication by going down on the thinner tips. I've got a 4000 reel with a 6-pound main line, but I've also got a shock leader attached to this as well. It's the same material that I use on the commercials over in England. Obviously, if I'm fishing on the bigger commercials, bigger lakes like Barston, I'll step the rods up to a 13 and a 12. But yeah, same rod, same setup in England as over here at the Berenkuil.
What have you on the side tray for today's session?
Very, very simple really for winter fishing. Obviously at the Berenkuil you have to use their fishery pellets. So these are 2mm pellets that have been prepared and soaked. So they're nice and soft and spongy, and they break down. You can give them a good squeeze.
Okay.
And you can run your finger over it and they just break down really nicely. They're not too sticky, but they're also not too dry. So again, these are the fishery pellets. We have to use these on the Berenkuil. A few different feeders, different sizes. I've got a larger feeder just in case I need to increase the feed. I've got a solid pellet feeder, just a different approach to the presentation of the baits. I've got a few little additives that I can put on to the top of the feed just to try and induce a fish to come in and take the bait. I've got a few selection of wafters and boilies on here. Obviously different colours, small from really small baits, like this one, really small, up to, if I can get one out, a bigger 10mm.
Okay. Why do you use so many different colors?
Different colors for different times really. In winter time, obviously the water's getting clearer, so you can really change around. In winter time, when it gets clearer, the yellow and the whites go really well. Even these sort of like washed out colors, they're a bit more of a standout. In summer, obviously the darker baits are better. In the summer, that I find personally the darker baits are better in the summer.
Okay. And do they have the same flavor, or is just the only difference the color?
Some have a little bit of some flavorings on them, different scents, but really it's the colors.
Okay. Well, coming to the last part. What is that?
That's the most important piece on the side tray. That is the stopwatch. I use the stopwatch in all my feeder fishing. It's the best thing you can have on the side tray. is when you cast and the feeder hits the water, you start the stopwatch, and from that you learn how long it takes between bites, and it will start building up a pattern. The bites can come between 3 and 5 minutes, therefore I can keep an eye on that, especially in match conditions. If I'm getting bites between 3 and 5 minutes, why would I leave the feeder in 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes? It's wasting time. If I don't get a bite within 5 minutes, I can bring the feeder back in, reload it, and cast again.
Well, it's time to change some hook baits, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna be messing around, trying different hook baits and different colours. We've been on yellows and pinks, and just for a change, I'm just going to put on a tiny white boilie, a little tiny 6mm white boilie. Just getting it prepared up now, so just loading the hybrid, just putting in a base layer in the bottom of the hybrid, just pressing it quite tight, just to make that so that stays in there. Laying the hook bait in the middle, making sure the hook lays flat. Just press that in gently, just press the hook down, and then literally just putting a few more pellets in and around, just a gentle squeeze on these. And then the final one is just to give it a little tiny squeeze down on the palm of the hand.
And that's it?
That's it. Just so gentle. I want the breakdowns to be quite quick, and the more you compress the pellets onto the feeder, the slower the breakdown time will be. I'm looking for this to be breaking down within a minute or so, so I'm fishing within a minute.
Okay, Tony, if you talk about fishing in the winter, what kind of tactics do you have? How do you start fishing?
Winter, you have to be really patient, and be very mindful that the fish are slowing down with the metabolisms and the amount of feed that you put in. Location of the fish is very paramount and key in winter. They don't show themselves as much as they do in summer, where they're crashing around. So for me, it is always, I'm exploring my peg. I will cast out, give it 10-15 minutes, see whether I get any indications on the tip. That will let me know that there's fish in the area, and from that I can adapt to what I'm doing to try and induce a bite from them. If it's been out there for 15 minutes and I get no signs on the tip, then I'll look to move around in the swim until I start getting some indications or signs on the tip.
Okay, and if you talk about the stopwatch, because it's not for nothing on your side table, how do you use the stopwatch?
The stopwatch is very important, more so in winter, because you're probably going to get obviously fewer bites in winter, and the times, those bite times are very key, because you'll start getting a pattern that you'll probably get bites within 7, 10 or 20 minutes, especially on the bigger commercials and the big open waters. So it's all about making use of the time within the match, instead of leaving it out there for 5 minutes beyond. If you're getting average bite times between 7 and 15 minutes, again, going back to what we said earlier, why would you leave it out there for 20 minutes? So it's a very important tool for me on the side tray, and a lot of people in the UK and top feeder anglers use the stopwatch, because you can start building up a picture over the winter months.
And just look at that. That's number 2, I think. Let's watch closely what he's doing. Well, if you hook a fish, Tony, what is the best way to catch the fish?
To play it,
Yeah.
is I always keep the rod low to the water, and try and lead it in.
Oh, this is a big one, I think.
It's a better one. I'm not sure if this isn't foul hooked actually, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, just keeping the rod low and just taking your time, especially when you're winter fishing, because bites are at a premium. And basically you want to make every fish count. You want to land every fish, because you've worked so hard in the winter months to locate the fish and hook a fish. Yeah, it's just taking your time and making sure you get every fish you hook into the net. But yeah, it's just being careful and just don't rush. Just do not rush when you're playing a fish, especially in the winter months. You just want to make sure you get everyone in.
Okay, he's almost there, I think. There he is. Just waiting for the first glimpse.
It's a good one. This is a proper Berenkuil carp. She's not going to give herself up.
Very nice one.
Yeah, this is the most important part. Don't rush it when it's at the net.
And because most of the carp is lost at this moment.
Oh yes, yes, definitely. How many times have we lost fish at the net?
He's almost there. He's almost there. He's not ready yet, Tony, I think.
No.
He's not ready.
These
He's just seen me, I think.
These carp in here they really fight. Yeah, they really fight in here. Hard fighting carp.
This must be a nice one.
It's a nice one, this one.
He takes his time. Look at that one. This is the guy we're looking for.
There we go.
Nice big carp. Of course, it's barbless fishing. In most of the commercials in the Netherlands, this is a nice one, isn't it?
Yeah, nice common. Yeah. And they do fight in the Berenkuil.
In a few minutes we've seen 2 carp, but what do you do if you don't catch any fish? Do you have anything up in your sleeve that you can use?
There's always things that you can do, and there's a lot of things out there that we can utilize to help induce a bite or change the mix of the pellets. Because obviously at the Berenkuil we've just got these normal dark pellets, and we can change things by putting in stuff like this.
This is the secret weapon.
This is a secret weapon. This is a boilie crush, so we use it quite a lot on the English commercials, just to change the pellets, add a fleck of colour. It then gives a target for the fish to home in on, rather than these dark pellets sitting on the floor. We can add a splash of colour to them, and what you end up with is something like this. So you go from something
Dark.
like that,
I can see it.
and all of a sudden you've added in a fleck of colour on the lake bed, something for the fish to home in onto. So we do use boilie crushes quite a lot in the UK. The other one is we can put some flavouring on top of the feeder. There's different flavours, different things out on the market from different manufacturers. I like using the Ringer's FX Caramel glaze. I think it gives a sweet flavour, but within these, within the goose, you get different flavours from tutti frutti to pineapple, caramel, squids, a whole range of flavours with these. And I've got a feeder made up now, so all you would literally do, just to, again, these are just the plain pellets, is literally just put a tiny little spot on the top and just give it a little smear. And all that will do is give you an attraction and a scent in the water column, and also down where your feeder is on the bottom. So again, you can mix that with a boilie crush. You can put additives in, just to give you that little bit of an edge, because everybody's fishing with plain pellets, and if you can do something a little bit different to everybody else on the lake, it just gives you that slight advantage.
Okay, Tony, if we talk about winter fishing, give us some special tips. What's the most important thing if you go fishing in the winter?
I think there's two for me. One is patience. I think you need to be really slow and methodical in what you do, and be patient. Don't rush things. Fish are dormant, they're not as active. So again, patience. Be absolutely patient. Don't rush things. The other one, there's nothing worse than going fishing in winter and you get cold. If you get cold, you don't want to be on the bank, you're not concentrating, your mind is focused on your toes, your fingers, and just being thoroughly cold. So wearing the right clothing, make sure you're warm, wear a hood, but wear a cap, just to keep yourself warm. And the other one is bring a flask of coffee. There's nothing better than a flask of coffee to keep you warm in the winter.
This is a smaller one, isn't it?
It's a little bit smaller than the other one. Still welcome though in winter.
Oh, these kind of fish can make a difference in winter matches, of course.
Yes, yeah. Any fish in winter is nice.
This is a nice one too.
Right in the bottom lip. So I know my rig's working well with those wasters. It's right in the bottom lip. Smack bang in the middle.
This is also a very nice ending for a very nice video.
Oh,
he's not ready yet.
He's a bit lively.
He's not ready yet. But look at this. It's a very nice carp. Very healthy.
Lovely.
He can go back to his friends, I think. Nice. Well, I'm on my way to leave now. I hope you like this video, and maybe we will see each other again in another video of mine, of somewhere on the banks of the UK. You never know.